What's up guys, Brendan Hancock here with another episode of Groove Subaru today. And today I'm super excited because we're taking a look at the new 2017 Subaru BRZ. There's been a lot of changes to the new 2017 BRZ, including more power, which I'll get to in just a little bit. But first, let's talk about the exterior changes that they've made to the BRZ, which are quite prominent. The first thing that you're going to notice compared to a 2016 or 2015, they have a new bumper cover on the new BRZ. The headlight design has changed as well. You do have the LEDs here. Your turning signals are these little kind of Audi almost dots, I like to describe them as. And then your daytime running lights are this little kind of bar right here. They are LEDs. They look a lot like the lights that are on the XT Touring Foresters. Very similar design that they have here. You'll also see a little bit different intakes down here. They've almost made it so it looks like it comes with a splitter sort of in the front. It used to be a little bit more basic, but they've added this nice little feature and then also a few more intakes over here on the sides. Previously, your daytime running lights used to be down here where the fog lights are, but now they've actually moved it up to here, which I think is a little bit sleeker looking design. If you guys follow me over on this way, a couple minor things they've changed here. The design right here is a little bit different. I think it used to just have one. That's not going to really provide any sort of performance benefits, but just little tweaks and changes. They have also changed the mirror design here on the sides just a little bit to kind of make it new for 2017. And then the biggest change, which is one of my favorites, is the new wheel design that they have here. I really didn't like the previous wheel design, and this one, which is new on the 17s, it is a much more aggressive looking design, seems more aerodynamic and a little bit sportier. So if you follow me over here to the back, a couple changes that they have made. They do have the addition of the black spoiler here. This is all aluminum. It is black on all of the trim levels. However, it does come with the body colored accent kind of wing things here over on the sides. They have changed the rear light design as well on the tail lights here. They are LEDs in the back now. A little bit more sleek design, kind of connects it a little bit better, makes it look a little bit more aggressive. And then also the final thing on the back that you'll be able to see that is different, the tailpipes. They have kind of increased a little bit in size. In my opinion, they look a little bit more like the Series Blue did in 2015. So that's kind of the size. They're a little bit bigger, almost kind of a bell-looking shape to them as well. So that's on the interior. Now on the exterior. Now under the hood, they've also made quite a few adjustments as well. In addition to increasing the stiffness in the rear, they have added another stability bar. It's going to be a much stiffer, kind of more well-balanced drive than the previous generation. But as you've already heard, they have increased the horsepower by 5 horsepower. So a little bit of an increase. I'm not sure if that's exactly what we were talking about when we were asking for more power, but you have to remember that this is not a 0 to 60 car by any means. This is a pure driving car. It weighs just over 2,700 pounds and the drag coefficient is 0.27, so very aerodynamic. And then it has the lowest center of gravity out of any major production car of just over 18 inches. So this is very much a around corners, real engaging driving experience. A couple of the things that they've changed on the engine portion of it, if you remember, if you've seen like a 16 or a 15, they used to have the sort of BRZ cover over here. It was a black plastic thing. They've gotten rid of that and they've actually added in new red intake manifold, which is part of the reason you're getting that extra power. They've also added a new exhaust manifold, and then they've reduced the engine friction within the engine. That is really where you're getting that extra 5 horsepower. It seems a little bit more refined, a little bit smoother, so to speak, than the previous generation. The extra 5 horsepower, I don't think it's a drastic difference in straight flooring difference, but I think in the overall drive and smooth and sound of it is a lot better, absolutely. All right, so we're on the interior of the 2017 BRZ. Quick thing to note, this is the limited trim level. So there are really 2 trim levels, and then there's also a Series Yellow that'll be coming out much later. But this is going to give you a couple additional things here. It does have the keyless entry and push to start. You've got dual automatic climate control. I really like these gauges that they have here when you have the dual climate control. This is a very driver-centric car, and it kind of makes you feel like you're in a space shuttle, which I really like. So it will come with the just over 6-inch touchscreen infotainment. This will be the same one you'll see in like the base Crosstracks, the base WRXs, things like that. I would like to see a 7-inch screen there. I really wish they would have put that in the Limited. But it does still now has voice activation and things over for you as well. This isn't all that different too much in terms of the infotainment system element of it here, so not too many differences here. One thing you will notice down here, being a manual transmission, it doesn't have the 2 buttons in the middle. This is to turn your traction control off, and then they've changed the sport setting to a track setting now with a little flag, which I really like. That is going to turn off your traction and your stability control, so that's what's going to let you go sideways. If this was an automatic transmission, you'd have 2 more little buttons in here. One of them would be for snow, and the other one would be for sport, and sport would just kind of like, an SI drive, putting it into S would, it shifts at higher RPMs for you. One of the biggest differences, the 2 biggest differences are going to be in this area in terms of the interior. The steering wheel is new. It's really smooth. I'd like a little bit more pronounced, 2 o'clock here, 2 and 10 sort of area. It's not super pronounced, so it could be a little bit sportier. I think a lot of the reason for that redesign is because they've actually, for the first time ever, added infotainment setting adjustments, so you can control volume and adjust your LCD screen and voice activation and stuff. It used to literally just be a horn on there. So I think in order to have these buttons on here, they had to do a little bit of changes with it. But it is very smooth. It's still quite small, which I like, and has a really good feel to it. The other huge thing that is new is this 4.1, I believe it is, inch LCD screen here. You'll always now have your digital speedometer up there, which I really like. And then actually it's very cool here, if you can see where the tachometer kind of goes over into the more digital area, it actually overlaps. So you have your gas and your speedometer here, your digital speedometer, they're actually digital now. But the cool thing is that you can change that screen to a number of cool new features. So you can obviously do your average MPG, distance, miles till empty types of things, but you can also change it to show oil temperature, battery power, heat of the engine on here, kind of a very nice red LCD sort of sporty gauges here as well. And then you can also go over to, this is my favorite spot, you can do lap times with a stopwatch. You can also have like sort of a, I don't know the technical name for it, but it shows you your G-force area. So the red dot, like if you're going around a corner, it shows you where the G-force is going, which is super sporty. That is really awesome. And then you can also show your torque and horsepower here at various RPMs, kind of on like a line graph there in live time, which is super, super awesome. So I really like that. Over in this area, your analog kind of speedometer, tachometer, pretty standard there, not too many changes that I'm noticing, although you have to love the 9,000 RPM red line. This makes me think, of the old S2000s, the really high revving cars. This is very much in that S2000, Miata, Lotus Elise kind of category, the very rev happy cars. So very S2000 in nature there. In terms of overall comfort, this is a very low seating car, kind of like with the Elise, you almost feel like you're lying totally flat. And I'm not even pushed all the way down, but I still have that type of feel. But visibility is pretty good, especially over the front. That boxer engine sitting so low as it does really does give you good visibility over the front, and very much a feeling of control. I feel very much like I'm in control of the car so much. Even though I haven't started driving, I just know what I'm going to anticipate. So I am super excited. Really, really nice car. I really love the BRZ. It is a beautiful driving car, hands down. So now this is going to be the first time I've actually driven it. So let's go take it for a spin. Couple quick things that they have done to the actual physical drive of it. They did stiffen up the rear, like I said. Previously the FRS had a slightly stiffer back end, and that was really the car that I recommended for people that really wanted to get sideways. So they have really done quite a bit to that, which I really like. And then they also have tightened up the gear ratios on it. So it almost feels like you have a short throw shifter on there, even though you technically don't. So I really like the feel of the shifting points on that. Probably cuts down on 0 to 60 time, I would presume, just a little bit. Seems a little bit smoother of a ride as well. It is stiff, but not, it's stiff side to side. It's not as stiff over bumps a little bit. I know they made some changes to the shocks and struts a little bit, strut towers a little bit. My guess is that's where that's coming from. You do also have the option of a sport package, performance package, I should say, that isn't out yet, but we should see in early 2017. That's going to add a couple things. You're going to get different wheels. You're going to get all black 10-spoke wheels, which pop extremely nicely. I like them a lot. You'll also get high-performance Brembo brakes, front and rear, and then you'll also get a Sachs dampeners suspension system on there as well, just to give you that added level of performance. So I cannot wait to see in person the Brembo brakes on the BRZ. I think that's been a long anticipation for us to see. Now, in terms of the feel of it just generally on the road, you feel that lower center of gravity than the WRX. WRX, position-wise, and where you're sitting, is almost like driving a normal car. This is extremely driver-focused. It is you in the road. You're sitting so low, you almost feel like you can reach out and kind of touch the ground. This opening up here in the front, even though visibility is really good, it kind of gives this sort of narrow point which really focuses your eyes on the road. It's not about off looking at other things. It is about driving and enjoying that experience. Sounds a little bit louder too. I don't know if that is the exhaust manifold or what. A little bit louder, not in terms of wind noise or road noise so much, but the exhaust sound I can hear quite a bit more, which I do like. In terms of ride comfort, I'd probably put this somewhere closer to an STI in terms of its rigidity. It is softer, as I've mentioned, than in previous generations, but is in no means, or by no means, a soft, comfortable Outback feel. It is not that. It is a much pure performance car, and that's kind of what you're driving it for. They have increased as well the new mirror that you're going to see on like the Outbacks and Foresters. It's a little bit bigger, gives you a little better visibility out of the back. Side visibility is good. I don't think you'd want to make the mirrors much bigger than they are, though good size for a car like this. It's just fun. I feel like I could drive this forever. I really do miss my BRZ, I will tell you that. So we're going to take this over up onto Santa Fe. I really want to test out the stability, turning it into track mode. Fortunately, we don't have a track in the immediate area that we can actually head to, but this will give us a nice kind of feel there for it. I'm going to slide here. Boom. Around turns, like I said, I have traction and stability on right now. There is almost zero body roll to speak of. It handles through those corners so nicely. I don't even know if there is like any body roll. If you compare it to a Miata, however, despite them being, those lightweight, high performance cars, not super focused on horsepower, more of the driving around corners feel, I feel less body roll in this car than I do in the Miata. There's a little bit more body roll in that car. This I feel much more stuck to the ground, so to speak, but in a good way. So I'm going to turn this bad boy into track mode. So that's going to turn off stability and traction control. So I got a little indicator there that track mode is. Woo, baby! You get a nice little shifting light up there, which is kind of cool. It tells you when to shift. You can adjust that to wherever you want to have that set up. Test out these brakes here. We're at a light. Solid stopping power. You do have 4 wheels, disc brakes throughout, and then you have the option, like I said, in the performance package to up those to Brembos. Probably needed to get a little bit more speed going in there to go sideways. Got out a little bit, felt sunburn and rubber, but I definitely, when I was driving this, when I used to have a 2013, literally every single, like during the winter, every time I was at an intersection, I would always do a little bit of snow drifting, and this car is extremely easy to control. 6,000, 7,000, don't really want to push it too hard, so I'm going to brake the car at 5,000, down into 4,060. in plenty quick. In no way is this a slouch. I don't feel the 5 horsepower makes a drastic difference, but I feel with the extra sound that I'm getting from the exhaust, that much more engaging of a drive. Super, super fun. Now, I mentioned in another video when we were comparing the STI to the BRZ. Now, that was a 2015 BRZ. If you're looking at the price point of this car, this one being a limited, it's got a couple accessories on it. This one's around $29,000 MSRP. You can get a premium premium BRZ. I mean, for a little bit less expensive in like the 27 neighborhood there. That'll give you cloth seats. You won't have dual climate control. But all the performance stuff here, it's all going to be the same. A little bit different headlights, things of that nature. No fog lights. But that really puts it kind of in a price point of the WRX. I mean, there's really not a lot of difference there. And so in determining kind of what you want, I find, as a pure just going out and driving car, I find this car possibly even more fun to drive than the WRX. It's because of that low center of gravity, that driver-focused kind of point of view of this car. I mean, there's very little practicality about it. I mean, there's, the trunk space is, I mean, you can fit 4 tires on it if you fold the seats down. And then, yes, if you're trying to carry people with it too, those are tax purpose for your seats. My person who's filming in the back is probably dying right now, but it's kind of determining what you want. I think the WRX is a better all-around car, given that it has all-wheel drive, those types of features, a little bit more power, of course, and obviously more space for, passengers and cargo. But this, if you're looking to get a BRZ, it's especially in Colorado, it's not really the car that's going to do great in the snow if you're trying to go up to the mountains. A good set of winter tires will get you in and around town pretty much just fine. But it's not going to, up steep grades, be a good car for that. So if this is going to be a second car, we were doing that comparison. We were saying, okay, that one was like, 20,000 or something, and the STI was 35. If you're looking at, maybe driving this 90% of the time and then maybe just buying a cheap Wrangler for, 5-10 grand, that would be, in my opinion, the best route to go instead of buying, a full STI or something like that. I think this gives you as much enjoyment in the driving experience as an STI would. And in reality, I mean, speed limits do exist. So, I mean, what are you going to do with, hundreds and hundreds of horsepower if you can't even really use it anywhere? Here, even if I'm going at slower speeds, I feel engaged and I'm still enjoying the drive, which I think is really awesome. Awesome. Well, this has been super fun. I really don't want to go back to the dealership, but sadly I have to. Don't want to put too many miles in this car. So this is available. This is in the World Rally Blue, the traditional Subaru color. So this car is in stock. As I said, it is a limited trim level. So if you guys do want to test out the new 2017 BRZ, definitely suggest scheduling an appointment. You guys can always call in and schedule a test drive with one of our representatives, or you can always ask for me. I do sell cars. I'd love to help you guys out and always love fellow performance enthusiasts. So if you guys haven't done so already, check out our channel. It is Groove Subaru on YouTube. Subscribe today. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.